A new Australian invention is giving new hope to back pain sufferers who'd just about given up hope. More now from Brian Armstrong.
But having a broken back is agony, really agony. I didn't know anything could be so painful. And it's not just for the moment, it goes on and on and on.
Lorraine Smith was a keen ballroom dancer until she did a quick step on some wet tiles and broke her back in 2 places.
Did you think your ballroom dancing days were over?
Yes, I did. Very disappointing thought.
But Lorraine is now back in the swing of things thanks to a new invention.
It's a medical miracle.
Yeah, comfortable, easy to wear?
Very.
You've got it on now?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so it doesn't show up at all under the clothes?
No, you can camouflage it quite well.
It was only in January that Lorraine had her accident. She still has some pain, but she says she can control it by wearing a special back brace.
If I'm just standing at the sink or just doing some household chores and I feel the pain, I put it on straight away. And within 5 or 6 minutes, the pain eases. Within 10 minutes, I can take it off.
It's better than anything else we had before for chronic long-standing pain, much better, but this brace is absolutely stunning with acute pain. Arms in the air, lean back into me a bit.
Dr. Andrew Dunn invented the Moulder back brace and started trying it on his patients 6 months ago.
It is really only been in more recent months that we've realised how good it is, because it's taken us a year to really learn how to fit it properly, because we're using totally different mechanisms from how the plastic is usually used.
David, I'm just going to mould this onto your back.
The key to the brace is a plastic insert, which is professionally moulded to each patient's back. David Robertson has suffered back pain for 25 years.
I've tried just about everything on the market, as you can imagine, having a problem for as long as I have had. I've tried everything that there is.
What I'm going to do now, David, is just put the ice pack on the plastic, and that will help to set it.
I used to suffer really bad headaches and excruciating lower back pain. I don't suffer that now.
And because of this brace?
Purely and simply because of the brace.
People who perhaps can't work because of back pain may be able to find they are employable.
Spinal Society of Australia President Dr. Richard Vaughan has seen dramatic improvement in his own patients who have tried the Moulder back brace. But he says it's early days yet, and he says it must be worn under supervision.
It's not a panacea answer, but used correctly will certainly help numbers of back sufferers, and therefore has a significant role, I stress again, in conjunction with exercising.
This is a conventional surgical corset. It hasn't changed in 400 years to any significant extent since the Elizabethan era.
Metal rods, basically.
Metal rods.
So what difference does yours make to that?
This is moulded in 3 dimensions to support your back, with a 3-dimensional plastic support. The whole thing is flexible and moves with you, and one size fits all. It takes 3 to 5 seconds to put on and 1 second to take off.
It seems so simple, but it only came about because of 2 things. Firstly, Dr. Dunn was left wearing a conventional brace after his own accident in the surf 3 years ago.
And there was a terrible crunching in my neck.
Broke your neck?
Yeah, in 4 places. I said to myself, there's got to be something better than this.
Factor 2 was another Dr. Dunn invention, a moulded shin boot to protect horses from kicking themselves.
The boot contains a heat mouldable plastic, but it can be even more custom moulded if you wish to put this in boiling water, dry it, put it on your own horse's leg.
And you realised it'd be perfect for backs as well?
Absolutely.
Between the horse boots and the back brace, this small Perth factory where it's all made will have to expand.
My co-inventor went over to the United States a few weeks ago and came back with an order for $20 million worth of horse boots, but we are sure the back brace is going to be bigger.
Moulder back braces are already available in Perth and will be on sale in the eastern states in a month. They cost $240 each, plus about $40 for fitting. But back sufferer Peter Dennis says he's paid for itself in no time.
I was back at work within a few weeks and everything was back to normal within a month or 2 months.
And were you surprised it was able to help that much?
Yeah, I was real surprised, couldn't believe it. I was happy to be back at work earning money again.
I've had patients that have not been able to, hardly been able to roll themselves in bed. You fit the brace to them, put it on them, and they get up and walk around.
didn't think that I would ever be a person again. I believe in it. It's helped me. It can help others.
Brian Armstrong there in Perth. You would like more information about that back brace and how to get it? I'm afraid to say it, contact us, the poor telephone operators. Next, what everyone should know before they allow a lawyer to take on their case, find out what it's going to cost.
I can't put into words the shock you feel when you realise that the years of fighting for what you felt was yours has just been swallowed up in one great big bill.
This programme brought to you by the new series Nissan Pulsar.
This case is no longer a fight with her ex-husband. She's challenging her own lawyer over the fees that he asked her to pay. A family court judge has ruled that Ms. Raphael was grossly overcharged because her solicitor billed her $12 a page for photocopying documents, and when he had to actually read the documents, he sometimes charged her by the number of words. Emma Alberici has the background to this extraordinary case.
I frequently asked him throughout the years, where is this ending? How much is this bill? And I always got the same sort of response, don't worry about it, it'll be all right at the end, I'm looking after you.
A little more than 10 years ago, Marita Raphael hired Sydney solicitor Cedric Simons to help fight her divorce case. 5 years later, the family court awarded her $682,000, which sounded great. Problem is, she only ever got a fraction of that. Her lawyers took the rest.
The total bill for myself at the end was in excess of $460,000. There was on top of that, of course, valuations that he organised for me, and those would have added up to another $50,000 on top of that.
So more than $500,000?
Yes, more than $500,000.
Mrs. Raphael spent 5 years battling her ex-husband and another 4 fighting her lawyer. Earlier this month, Justice Moss here in the family court ruled that she could never have understood the implications of the costs agreement she'd signed with her solicitor, that it had never been explained to her, and that she'd been grossly overcharged.
I can't put into words the shock you feel when you realise that the years of fighting for what you felt was yours has just been swallowed up in one great big bill.
In his findings, Justice Moss used photocopying charges as an example. He said the agreement had allowed $4 a page as a minimum and up to $12 a page, when the going rate back then was 80 cents. Cedric Simons also charged more than $17,000 to read appeal books on the case. He admitted in court that the costs agreement allowed him to charge that amount regardless of how much time he actually spent reading those books.
The costs agreement allowed him to charge me on the basis of $250 per hour, but he never kept any timesheets, and he really said that he had relied on his memory and his good sense of recollection to arrive at that figure, because there were no timesheets ever kept.
Steve Mark is the Legal Services Commissioner in New South Wales. He's been investigating complaints about the profession for the past 4 years. While he wouldn't comment on the specifics of Mrs. Raphael's case, he had this to say generally about legal bills.
Now, in my view, it is just unacceptable to the consumer to have to pay a reasonably large bill dealing with the hourly rate that a solicitor might be charging for the work they're performing, and then receive an additional charge for telephone calls, faxes, and photocopying.
The Commission's 1997 annual report shows a 23% increase in the number of complaints on the year before. Nearly half of those thought they'd been overcharged.
We had other problems where lawyers had charged for 27 hours of work in one day. Another concern that I have is, in many instances, practitioners are still not disclosing their costs properly, and certainly not keeping their client informed throughout the matter as to what the bill is up to.
Had you asked your solicitor at the beginning of all of this how much it was going to cost you?
Yes, I did, yes, and he just told me not to worry about it. He was sure it would be okay to sort it all out at the end, and he would carry me and look after me.
Generally, I don't think there is overcharging going on.
Law Society President Ron Heinrich.
When you look at the millions of transactions lawyers in this state undertake during the course of a year, you would expect there to be a small number where clients actually query the bill they've received.
Okay, well, things like $12 for a photocopy of a document, is that excessive in your opinion?
In certain circumstances it could be justified. In others it couldn't.
All lawyers are now required to provide their clients up front with a detailed estimate of how much their case will cost to run. And Steve Marks says the public must demand it.
The practitioner must supply an estimate of how they think the entire matter, what they would think the entire matter would cost, and a means of reaching that estimate. So at least the client has some sort of an idea of how much it's costing. Unfortunately, a significant percentage of practitioners are still not disclosing as the law requires.
Oh, my husband said, you know, if you don't agree to what I want here, this could cost us $3,000 or $4,000 in legal fees and, of course, a couple of years in court. I thought that's just impossible.
Marita Raphael has now been forced to sell her home to pay the $90,000 she's so far paid to another firm of solicitors fighting her original lawyer about that bill. In court, he labelled her a Judas.
That makes me feel terrible, you know, and it's an extremely derogatory remark, and money hungry, greedy and ungrateful. Unappreciative was another word he uses, because I dared to question this amount of money.
Emma Alberici with that report. While the family court judge has ruled that Cedric Simon's original costs agreement with Marita Raphael should be thrown out, Mr Simons is now appealing that decision. So this amazing and very costly legal battle goes on. Next, the Melbourne football team taking on the rest of the country, but is Sam Newman with them?
It's probably not as refined as AFL.
We've brought some thugs down with us. You need those in our game.
Feel a healing coming on.
Sometimes.
When it comes to relations with shareholders, he just hasn't been on the right track at all. He's been making a lot of mistakes, and he's made false statements or statements he shouldn't have made. He's tried to take over the management situation and not revealed everything. And the institutions have had enough, and there's a real dispute going on there. The Securities Commission is involved, and I think Lloyd will have to stand down from that position, because there just isn't the trust at this point of time.
Well, much has been made of the impact of the Asian economic crisis on Crown. Is that one of the major factors in its downfall, do you think?
It's part of it, and it's certainly an important part of it. But I think the costs of the casino, when they opened the casino, were much higher than expected. And they expected to have a very strong cash flow right from day one. All their funding was based on that, and it didn't happen. And that was partly because of Asia, but partly because their costs were too high.
If Lloyd goes or his position changes, what's that going to do to the share price, do you think?
I think it'll put it up. But what's very important is the unsecured credit of Lloyd Williams. The Crown Casino unsecured notes are now selling at 83 cents in the dollar. Now that puts a cloud over your operations when your unsecured credit is trading at that level, and there needs to be confidence. And if there isn't confidence in the marketplace, then that's the sort of thing that happens.
Now, how important is the success of Crown to us here in Victoria and to the Kennett government?
Well, I think as far as revenue to the government is concerned, that keeps going no matter what happens. But I think the perception is important. Jeff Kennett was very much involved in the success of Crown and what happened at Crown, and he'll be affected in perception basis if Crown gets into trouble.
Well, if Crown continues down this path, where's it likely to lead the company?
If it continued this path, I think the company might get into trouble. You can't have it...
When you say trouble, what are you talking about?
It could in fact fail, because if your unsecured debt is at 83 cents in the dollar, that will put pressure on the value of your freehold, and if there's pressure on the value of your freehold, then that starts to affect your solvency, and if your solvency is affected, you could lose your licence. Now they have to take a step to restore the confidence and turn that whole direction around.
Do you think there's a chance that Kerry Packer may step in and take on a more hands-on role?
I don't think Kerry Packer would go hands-on this one. In fact,
why is that?
Running a casino. I think Kerry likes to be at the other end of the casino, not running the casino. But I think Lloyd might need his help financially, because he certainly needs somebody to stand behind him at this sort of time.
So if Lloyd's not the man for the job, who is?
The obvious person to be chairman is Kevin Gosper. He's the deputy chairman. The difficulty with Kevin is that he's been around a while and all these things have been happening, and that puts a bit of a cloud over him. I think he'd do the job well, but the institutions may demand someone from right outside.
So this looks like the end of Lloyd's dream, doesn't it?
No. I think there's a good chance that he'll continue to run the casino. And right now he's fighting on too many fronts. He's fighting the shareholders, he's trying to fix the casino up, he's got all the problems with the asset valuation. Get him out there running the casino and enjoying himself running the casino, and he'll do a good job at it.
OK, Robert, thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Well, coming up, mothering the swans who've just left their nest.
Great, guys. Chocolates on a plate, everything.
She's really great. She's like a second mother to me.
Good having Mum there. It makes it a lot easier.
Oh, wow. Cockroaches.
A dull bludger's worst nightmare.
Summer Bay's first Bonta Burger employee.
Can he get out of this one?
I'm sure you will find this as fascinating as I did.
Home and Away, next on 7.
Good, okay, what colour is the grass?
Green!
What colour is my sweater?
Blue!
What colour are my teeth?
Beige. Off-white. Stucco. Another old pale.
No matter how great your smile is, don't you wish it could be whiter? Introducing Colgate Sensation Whitening. It has a special ingredient that gently breaks down stains that can discolour teeth.
Let's try this again.
For whiter teeth, Colgate Sensation Whitening.
Rather than creating new pastas to hold on to pasta sauce, Raggoletto created a pasta sauce that would hold on to the pasta. A deliciously thick, chunky sauce made with sun-ripened tomatoes. Raggoletto Chunky. The trick was to make it thick.
Now with a bigger, more powerful VTEC engine, the new 7-seat Honda Odyssey really is the car of your life.
RACV is a lot more than just roadside service, so if you're a member, make the most of it.
It's the dream of thousands of young footy fans being drafted to an AFL club. But life in the big league can be pretty tough for the young hopefuls, especially if they have to move away from home to follow their footy careers. So it's a big comfort for those leaving the family nest to find a standby mum at their club, as Patrick Lindsay reports.
It's that time of year again. The season's in full swing and the Swans are off to a flying start.
Roos can't park. It doesn't matter. Siren. Swans by 7 points.
Sydney's key players are already in top form. Plugger's putting them through. Roos is in command. Kelly's chasing Leather. O'Loughlin's cleaning them up. And Kinnear is cleaning up. That's Margaret Kinnear, the official Swans house mum. She's surrogate mum to 14 of the team's youngest players. One of the first things you notice when you come to a Swans training is just how young some of the players are. In fact, some of them look too young to be separated from their mothers. And strangely, the Swans management agrees.
Oh, great, guys. Chocolates on a plate, everything.
Marg's appointment came after the Swans scouts saw the potential in her younger son, Mark. They signed Mark and Mum in a package deal.
Well, Mark got drafted as a 17-year-old, and Sydney offered me would I like to come up as well, and I jumped at it.
Good having Mum there.
makes it a lot easier throughout the year, especially during footy season. I mean, you're pretty sort of tired and that during the week from the game and sort of recovery and that wise. But I mean, it's good having you there.
Mark takes the new recruits under her wing and helps ease them into the real world. Freddie Campbell from Alice Springs lives with Marg and Mark.
She's really great, just like a second mother to me. Cuppy, Mark Kinnear is sort of like a brother to me as well.
Marg cleans 4 swans' nests as part of her regular rounds, and she tackles some very basic problems. For example...
Well, hygiene, one. It's definitely one. Oh, wow, cockroaches. Mum's done everything for them. And so I think they think that I'm going to do everything for them, which I don't, because they've got to learn to fend for themselves.
Above all,
much quicker. And is also very musical, and there is a lot more that's going to come out. She has an extraordinary ability to learn. Her reading is very focused.
Ready, girls, and... This is the first time these 3 8-year-olds have played together. They're the youngest of the 18 children taking part in the National Music Academy's inaugural junior program. And tempo. Their teacher for the week-long music camp is Nahama Patkin.
They are very keen to learn. They love learning. They love finding out new things. They love creating.
At just 8 years old, Hannah Sun is a veteran.
The piano, I've been playing since I was 2 or something, and then the violin I just started last year.
The daughter of concert pianist Melody, Hannah has already composed a piece of her own for harp and flute.
Piano was a big toy. Every day sitting there, play around. Yeah, she can't get away from that. So that's her life.
Hannah, who's your favourite composer?
Mozart, Mendelssohn and Liszt.
Why?
And Rachmaninoff.
PJ became a pupil of his piano teaching mum Helen when he was 5.
And I said to Mum, if my friend can play, well, so can I.
And is that how it happened, Helen?
Yes, pretty much. He learnt a few tunes, but then when his friend learnt, then he wanted to learn.
But Leanne Lee's musical talent was discovered by chance.
We just started her on the piano by chance and found that she's very good at it.
So where do you think the talent comes from, Leanne?
Mum.
But Mum doesn't play.
No, Mum doesn't play.
So it's a mystery.
Yes. These 3 children are very good. They're very skillful. They have enormous potential. They have incredible ability with their fingers. Their fingers are very agile. But more than that, they know how to use their brains.
And you can see those talented little kids in concert at South Melbourne Town Hall on the 18th of April. And that's the show for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Now, for those of you who are getting ready for your Easter break, have a great 4 days off and take it easy on the roads. We will be here tomorrow at the same time, nevertheless, so I look forward to your company then. Good night.
Matter what might be decided by the courts. With backing like that, Chris Corrigan must be confident his waterfront revolution is firmly on course. Julia Baggio, ABC News.
The doc in leadership rather than rank and file members. And Labor's accused him of being more interested in union busting than improving productivity on the docks.
After the tumult and the shouting, today John Howard was playing the statesman.
The purpose of waterfront reform is not some kind of ideological anti-union push, vendetta or crusade.
A far cry from the strident rhetoric less than 24 hours ago.
Members of the MUA have created their own predicament.
Today, though, it's not the rank and file, but the leaders of the MUA who are to blame.
The leadership of the Maritime Union of Australia has been out of step with the interests of the members of that union. The union has not served, the unionists have not been well served by the behaviour of their leaders.
The change in tone came as Liberal premiers in 2 states expressed doubts about the mass sackings, doubts exploited by Kim Beazley.
For example, the workers at Burnie, at Patrick's operation in Burnie in Tasmania, had got up to 33 containers an hour. Mr. Reith's target was 25. They were routinely achieving 25. What is their reward? Sacked. Why? Because they are members of a union.
Buoyed by the federal court injunction ordering Patrick Stevedores to hold off on its sackings, the opposition is pressing its argument that the dismissals were illegal under Peter Reith's own Workplace Relations Act.
It's not about productivity. It's about freedom of association and the government's desire to deny it.
The Prime Minister's still ducking questions about the legality of Patrick's actions.
I have no advice suggesting for a moment it has acted illegally, but ultimately I am not the company's legal advisor.
And, adds Mr Howard, the government will support the company while it acts within the law. Jim Middleton, ABC News, Canberra.
The ACTU's response to the upheaval on the waterfront has so far been unusually muted. At an emergency meeting this afternoon, it stopped short of supporting calls for mass industrial action. Instead, it's offering financial assistance to the sacked dock workers.
Everyone agrees this is industrial history in the making. For the government and for the unions, it's the symbolic ideological battle. Last year, ACTU Secretary Bill Kelty warned that any attempt to destroy the Maritime Union would result in the biggest picket ever seen in this country.
If you can beat the Maritime Union and you can rip out the heart, then that itself is the greatest attack on the union movement.
But today, despite calls from some unions and the Victorian Trades Hall for mass action, the ACTU has limited its outrage to a promise of financial assistance only.
We are not going to be sucked in or provoked by the likes of Mr. Reith or Mr. Howard.
The reason for the caution rests in the legal power of the government's secondary boycott legislation.
What's happened is that if a union now takes action in support, in solidarity with the MUA, they're exposing themselves almost instantly to major fines which could cripple them financially.
The fact that the country hasn't been brought to a standstill is a true reflection of the impact of the government's secondary boycott provisions. In Australia, at least, the days of all-out industrial action appear to be over, and the Maritime Union now has no choice but to look offshore for help. And there's no shortage of offers. In Tokyo, a meeting of 200 Japanese wharfies threatened to ban any shipping handled by Patrick, and the International Transport Federation has repeated threats of global black bans.
We will ask our affiliates to contact shipping lines all over the world, advising them to instruct their captains to divert their ships so that they are not calling at the Patrick terminals in Australia.
It's not a threat that worries the government or Patrick. Both say they're confident they can mount successful legal challenges at home and abroad. Michael Brissenden, ABC News.
The Coalition and Labor today fired the first shots in what's likely to be a long election campaign. After the government rejected for a second time the Senate's changes to its native title legislation. It's now likely we'll go to the polls sometime between July and October, but whenever, the Prime Minister's adamant it won't be fought on race.
John Howard's finger is on the trigger for an early election, but if it's pulled, the Prime Minister wants the poll free of racist language.
There will be no race election as far as my government is concerned. We will never embrace the politics of race.
It will be a race-based election. It will be divisive.
The government remains
it will be ugly. The Senate paved the way for a double dissolution just after 2 o'clock this morning, passing an amended native title bill for the second time. 7 hours later, in a special sitting, the government rejected the Senate's amendments as unacceptable.
What we're about is a fair outcome, an equality of rights, but a determination which now must go before the people of Australia.
Mr. Howard won't say when, but he agrees he now can't serve his full 3-year term.
Well, I can't. If there's to be a double dissolution, I've got to tender advice to His Excellency well before the 29th of October.
The government would then expect to have the numbers in a joint sitting of Parliament to pass its WIC bill. The opposition has already shifted into election mode.
We are the underdogs in this election campaign and we'll fight it hard to win it.
As much as the Prime Minister might want to ignore the race issue, I can assure him that the One Nation Party won't.
And Independent Senator Brian Harradine has warned the long-term result could be a more hostile Senate.
Well, it would be a loss of coalition senators and a large number of loonies in the Senate.
Australia's international reputation.
Like myself.
He felt the strain of last night's marathon sitting.
I'm seeing double.
So was the government, as Senator Harradine dealt the WIC bill 2 fatal blows. He voted with Labor, defeating the government's tough test for native title claims, then gave Aborigines the right to negotiate over mining on pastoral leases. The Farmers Federation will campaign in support of Mr Howard's 10-point plan.
Clearly we want to see certainty brought to rural Australia as soon as possible.
But the Native Title Tribunal believes the resolution is a long way off.
We'll still have areas of legal uncertainty. There might be challenges to the legislation.
Aboriginal leaders are already investigating High Court action. Fiona Reynolds, ABC News, Canberra.
Victoria's jobless rate has risen dramatically. It was up to 8.7% in March from 8% in February. The national rate also rose for the first time in 9 months. The jobless rate had been declining since last July, but last month edged up from 8.1 to 8.2%. That was due to a fall in employment of 15,500, contrary to market expectations.
The positive feature is that the full-time employment growth that we've had over recent months has been fully maintained, and that the only slight loss has been in part-time employment.
Dr Kemp says the government is still on track to achieve its budget forecasts for jobs growth. Police have confirmed a man found brutally murdered in a Cambodian hotel room was Melbourne businessman Max Green. His body was exhumed last night as part of a coroner's investigation. Mr Green was allegedly behind a $38 million investment fraud. The federal courts now appointed a liquidator to search for the missing millions.
State Coroner Graham Johnston ordered Mr Green's body be exhumed for formal identification. Mr Green was found dead in a hotel room in Phnom Penh on March 24, his face battered beyond recognition. The federal court heard he'd offered investors a scheme to purchase and lease heavy equipment for projects such as CityLink. It's since been revealed Mr Green took $38 million, and most of that money's now missing. Melbourne businessman Richard Pratt deposited $1 million in a trust account.
Transfield were involved. We were recommended by Horwath and Horwath. There are a lot of things that made it look as if it was a real proposal.
Several $1 million have since been frozen in bank accounts. The Law Institute says it's doing everything it can to recover trust account money.
The money which we're looking at is plainly money from the trust account, and in those circumstances any legal step that we can take to recover the money, we'll take.
Barry Bloom of the Portman's Clothing Group invested $1.1 million with Mr Green. Today, a company associated with Mr Bloom applied for a liquidator to be appointed to search for the missing millions. Coroner Graham Johnston said late today forensic testing had proved there was no reason to doubt the body recovered from Cambodia was that of Max Paul Green. Investigations are continuing. Bruce Wardley, ABC News, Melbourne.
The Japanese government has just unveiled a program of massive tax cuts worth $31 billion over 2 years. It's hoped the cuts and increased government spending will help jolt Japan out of recession.
This package represents an astonishing about-face